Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my co-host, my brother, Alex. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm doing great. Just getting over a pretty long weekend. So trying to get back into the groove of Mondays, I guess. Whatever. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Bro, I had a long weekend. I'll tell you why. I couldn't sleep. All weekend long. I had a small problem physically, right?
Okay.
So on Friday, my daughter says to me, she says, "Hey, Dad, you want to go to the gym and work out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I got to do some strength work. I got to, keep my muscle. I'm damn near 50. So it's important when you get a little bit older like this to do some strength work. And I don't like it. I don't do it. But I'm like, all right, I'll go. I should do it. So I go. On the way to the gym, she says to me, "It's arm day." I'm like, all right, that sounds good. I'll do that. And I'm thinking arm day, right? We're going to do arms and probably some shoulders and back and maybe like core stuff, right? Which is all good for me as a runner, right? Like I don't need big guns, but all that other stuff is important, right? She wasn't kidding, bro. It was arms. That's all we did was arms, right? And she does these CrossFit workouts, right? So she works every freaking fiber of muscle in your arms. So you do curls, you do curls like this, you do them like this, you do them this
Right.
way, that way. You do them with your pinky up, with your pinkies down. I mean, we did curls 55 different ways, right? When we were done, I was okay, fine. I was pretty happy with myself. These little pipe cleaners can lift a little bit of weight. I'm good.
Right.
And that was around, I want to say it was around noon. By the time I went to bed at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock maybe, I couldn't move my fucking arms. I mean, I looked like a T-Rex, bro. I was like,
Yeah. You had that arm.
yeah, I could not sleep, right? Because I could not get comfortable. I couldn't put my arms in any position where they wouldn't hurt because they were already so sore, right? And I mean, I don't know about you, but I sleep in one of two positions, right? Either Jesus Christ or Rocky.
Right.
And neither one of those worked, man. My arms were killing me. So much so that, and even now, like they're swollen. And it's not muscle. It's like pain. I'm in pain, bro.
The worst is trying to put on a shirt.
Oh my God, and take a shirt off? Oh,
I know. It hurts.
Oh my God. I went for a
Just
run.
be glad it's not
I went
just
for a
be
run.
glad it's not wintertime.
Yeah.
And you have to put on a shirt and a jacket.
I went for a run on Saturday and Sunday, right? And when I got back, obviously I'm all sweaty. I take my shirt off. Man, I could barely get my arms over my head. And it was to the point where I couldn't straighten them out. Like I couldn't straighten them completely out because I had to keep them kind of tucked in because they hurt. So I've gotten
That's what happens. That's what happens when you've worked out never on your arms.
Dude, I'm a runner, not a freaking handstander.
I mean, but that would happen to me, right? Because I never work out my legs. Like I don't work out my legs at all. So like I'll get on the bike, but to do like actual leg, like to say it's leg day today, never in my vocabulary, never in my gym schedule, never.
We one of the things we did, right, was we did like presses, right? And we started off with, I don't know how much weight, 60 pounds or whatever, and we do reps of 8. And every time we'd add 20 pounds or 10 pounds, I don't even know, right? It's all a blur to me. I'm so bad with weights that I lose count. So like I end up doing 9 reps sometimes I do 8, sometimes I do 10, because I lose count while I'm doing it. I'm so focused on not dying that,
right.
So at one point, when the weight gets heavy, you're supposed to kind of do that little jump and push.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she's like, just jump and push, just kind of give yourself a little more oomph to get it up. I was like, I can't do all that with weights and stuff. I'm not that coordinated.
But see, that should be your strength right there, right? To have to jump, that's what your strength is in your legs.
I know I could probably press a lot more if I could get the rhythm of jumping and pushing at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm not used to doing that shit. I jumped once and I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm just gonna arm press this motherfucker because I don't have this. I don't have the coordination to jump and push at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, but it's good for you. You don't want to be that guy. You kind of want to be a little proportion. You don't want to be that guy with you know, noodle arms and fucking big Arnold Schwarzenegger, fucking calves and thighs.
Dude, and that's me. I look like a weeble wobble. I got some big ass legs, and then I got these little pipe cleaner arms, like your arms. You look like Schwarzenegger standing next to me with your arms and chest. I'm all skinny up top. You know what I mean?
I haven't been to the gym in months. I haven't been to the gym in probably 3 months.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
I try to go every time my daughter wants to go. I try to go because I know it's good for me. And I'm never gonna say to her or to you or to anyone for that matter, even to myself, hey, why don't I go to the gym and get an arm workout in, or lift some weights. She took me a couple weeks ago. She dragged me to do leg day. Killed that. I was squatting, deadlifting, but I could do that shit all day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only part that gets kind of dicey is if the weight gets too heavy, it might rip my little skinny arms right out of my shoulders. But it's not because the legs can't do the work.
That's right. Don't blame the legs.
Oh, man. So what else you been up to this week?
Yeah, I had Nicole came down to visit, so that was good. Had a little get together on Saturday, and it was a good time, man. A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, games played. It was good, man. It was a good time. Family, friends. It was good. So, still recovering.
It's always good to spend time with family and friends, man. You can't complain about that.
That's right. That's right.
Speaking of family and friends, some teams are out of the bubble and they can go spend time with their family and friends now because we've gotten rid of some of the dead weight in the NBA.
Yeah.
In the East, we're down to 4. In the West, we got 2 series still going on. So let's talk about those first round series in the West that have yet to finish. And I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz who are going to a Game 7, and the Rockets and the Thunder with the Rockets up 3-2. That Denver-Utah series, I mean, if you like scoring, watch that. There's no defense there. I mean, it looks like an all-star game almost.
Yeah. I mean, I've been enjoying Jamal Murray going up against Donovan Mitchell. It looks like they're matching each other game for game, point for point. But Murray's on a fucking crazy run. I mean, that's twice that he's hit 50 points in that series. I mean, he's really taken over. Like,
he really
they were down 3-1. So he's, I mean.
Well, and what's interesting, right? So you can count on one hand how many guys have had multiple 50-point games in one series. And in this series, we have 2 guys that have done it. I mean, it's right. It's incredible what it's been a scoring fest, and it's been so much fun to watch. I mean, they're filling the bucket over and over again. Who do you think wins Game 7?
Oh, the Nuggets. I never thought they would lose the series, even down 3-1.
Really?
At all.
Yeah. I was a little worried about them.
Nah. The Nuggets have been a good team. They got a good squad,
Oh, they are.
Utah's got a good team too, but I don't know. There's something. I don't know what they're missing exactly, but I don't see them. They might blow it up after the season.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talks, Gobert and Mitchell, and Gobert kind of kicked the chair last night after the game. Mitchell was kind of upset. There's something there, and now to lose a 3-1 lead like that, right? Now you're going to Game 7, man. That Game 6 was, I think, the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, the pressure now is squarely on the Jazz, right? Because
Right.
the Nuggets are playing well, and the Jazz did have a 3-1 lead, and they didn't get blown out, but they didn't look like a team that was ready to close out the series. And that's a little bit of lack of maturity, but I think also to your point, it's a little lack of cohesion between the two main stars on the team, which is Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. And we've heard rumblings about
Right.
them having issues for a while. And it's not surprising that now in the playoffs, those issues become magnified when the pressure gets greater. So,
Yeah.
I think, the Jazz are actually favored to win Game 7, but
Really?
yeah, slight
Oh
favorite,
my God.
1-point favorite. But I agree with you. I think the Nuggets are they've just gotten too hot.
So if you follow me on Twitter, I was like, before the game yesterday, I was like, if the Nuggets get down 7 to 10 points early in the first quarter, fucking live bet the Nuggets. Like I was for sure the Nuggets would win either way, and they were underdogs yesterday, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that they're underdogs again.
Did you live bet
Wow.
it?
No, I just give out the advice.
I'm not gonna risk my money, but I'll tell you what to do with yours.
But I thought that was a good bet, and I mean they were down, I think, as much as 12 in the first
Yeah.
quarter.
Yep.
With like 6 minutes left, or somewhere around there. But wow, I would let it ride on the Nuggets again.
Yeah,
I'd let it ride.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. What about the other series? What do you think about the Rockets and the Thunder? That series has been entertaining as well.
Yeah, it has been. There's a couple players from the Thunder that have stepped up and played good defense on Harden. I mean, I just don't see. I mean, I think the Rockets will win the series. I think they even close it out today, but I just don't see how that team is really going to be competitive going forward. Like, I would much rather see the Thunder win the series, because I think they match up a little better. Like, that small lineup of the Rockets just it's not built for a 7-game series,
I agree with you. And what's really been exposed here with the Rockets is, you're right, that small lineup is not going to do it. And when they have to go up against the Lakers in the next round, it's just going to be too much. And quite frankly, I think the same can be said for the Thunder. The Thunder match up a little bit better from a height and skill perspective. They just don't have the scoring punch to really keep up with the Lakers. But I think either one of these teams is just easy pickings for the Lakers.
Yeah, yeah. And, I mean, when the Rockets are on, they're on. When they're off, they're off. They live by the 3, die by the 3. It's really hit or miss, Like, Harden's going to get his points, He's going to drop 30, 40 points, but he's also going to shoot 3 for 16 from three-point land,
Yeah.
And, that doesn't really equate to winning in my eyes. So,
Well,
I don't know. I think the Rockets what is it, 3-2 Rockets, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Rockets put it away tonight. I don't think they lose.
Well, and I think the other problem for the Rockets is, I don't think Westbrook is completely healthy. He's out there and he's healthy enough to get on the court, but I don't think he's healthy enough to really contribute to the level that's going to make them a real threat to the Lakers. They have to have the 1-2 of Westbrook and Harden, and I just don't think Westbrook is health-wise. I don't think he's there.
Yeah, well, maybe this extra time, they had a few more days in between, so maybe that helped. Didn't he come back for Game 5?
Yeah.
Didn't he play last game?
Yeah, and he looked off.
That helped.
Yeah. Maybe he needed that one game to kind of get it moving, but he did look off to me.
Yeah.
And of
absolutely.
course, waiting in the wings are the two teams from LA, the Lakers and the Clippers. The Lakers will get the winner of the Rockets Thunder. The Clippers will get either the Nuggets or the Jazz. Are you surprised at all about those LA teams? What do you think their prospects are going forward?
I am a little surprised because I don't think the Lakers have really been all that good. Like Anthony Davis is carrying that team, but they haven't shot well at all. Like Danny Green hasn't really gotten going.
No.
That just overall, the Lakers are not shooting the ball that good, and they haven't really shot the ball good at all from three-point land,
Yeah.
all season. So I don't know, man. I mean, they better hope Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt because he's really been carrying that team in my eyes.
Yeah, he really has. And I think the Lakers were obviously it was a little bit easy with the Blazers, and especially after Lillard got hurt. So they got a bit of a gift there. I think they're going to get a bit of a gift here in the second round as well. But to me, it looks like we're looking at a collision course between the two LA teams in the conference finals, which I think would be a lot of fun. This is the one time that I wish they weren't in the bubble. I think it'd be great to have those games in LA. It'd be great to have fans at those games. It would make them quite the show. But yeah, I agree with you. I have a little less confidence in the Lakers than I do in the Clippers. But the Clippers have the tougher matchup, be it Utah or Denver.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if it's Denver, it's going to be a tough matchup. If it's Utah, I don't think it's a series at all.
Yeah,
because then you can put Kawhi on Donovan Mitchell, and Kawhi is, I mean, he's a two-way player. He's gonna, and now if Paul George finds his groove like the way he's been finding it the past two games, now Kawhi can play a little harder, sort of say, on defense, on Donovan, on stopping him, and then let kind of Paul George do his thing on the offensive side if he gets it going. So I don't think Utah will be much of a series for the Clips.
Interesting comments by Paul George after whatever it was, game 4 or whatever, when people were talking about how bad he was playing, and he started talking about opening up about the mental health issues of playing in the bubble and whatnot. I thought it was very courageous on his part to talk about that, because that's not, talking about mental health and just how you feel and whatnot is not, it's not that it's frowned upon, but it's not, it's not accepted very widely, right? So I thought it took a tremendous amount of courage for him to talk about that. And the other thing too is it kind of gives you a little bit of insight into these athletes and what they're going through. And a lot of times we don't have a lot of sympathy for athletes because they're pampered and they're making a lot of money. But at the end of the day, right, they're human beings just like you and me. And, they go through the struggles of this pandemic just like we do. Their job is obviously very different than ours, and their compensation is very different than ours, and their circumstances are very different. But some of the normal everyday stuff affects them as well, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think it's good that they come out and talk about things like that, because I think they, players like Paul George and, all these, high level players are, I mean, Barkley said a long time ago, he is not a role model, right? But, there are people that look, kids that look up to, to these athletes, right? That buy their jerseys and sneakers and got posters of theirs in their rooms. And, kids are, they go through mental issues too. So I think hearing someone like that talk about it is, gives some courage to kids out there that look up to them.
Yeah. Well, and part of the reason they're not role models is
All right, I don't know if I lost that or what.
I'm sorry, what? Uh-oh. You're breaking up. Hang in there, Alex. Hang in there. You there?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I can see you and I can hear you.
You're not even breaking up. You're just frozen.
Hopefully I froze with a smile on my face. You there, Alex?
I'm here. I can't see you though. Can you see me?
I can't see you, but I can hear you crystal clear. That's okay. It's actually probably better for the show if we don't see you.
Yeah, it just says your name up here.
Well, I think mine is recording, so it does not. So they won't see
Yeah, you're
you.
chopping up big time. I don't see you. Can you see me?
No,
Can you
but I
hear
can hear
me?
you. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah.
I can hear you too. I just can't. Yeah, I just can't see you.
Okay. Well, and that's part of the reason.
Ready?
Well, we're back after a little technical difficulty. Yeah, look, that's why Charles Barkley said I'm not a role model, because at the end of the day, we don't know everything about these guys. And so it's interesting to get a little insight into Paul George's mental state with the oddities of the bubble and being kind of quarantined in the bubble and all that other stuff. So I thought it was
Yeah.
great that he came out and shared that with us, and give people a little insight. Maybe people can chill out when they're talking about how bad he's playing, and all the shit that you hear sometimes about, oh, he sucks and this, that, and the other thing. No, man, maybe he's just got problems, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we got problems too, but I mean, we go to work and we got to perform and do our job, and it's the same thing. It's on a different scale, maybe, but he still has to go out there and play, you know.
Oh
He's
yeah.
playing for himself. He's playing for his team. They're playing for something. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't. I'm gonna criticize, of course, but I think as fans, there is a certain, there is a line to that you don't cross, like
Right.
shit happens. Like they're in a situation that no one's ever, the NBA hasn't been in before. But at the end of the day, there's players out there that are performing regardless of what's happening back in their own cities, and stuff like that. And there's players that are performing up to a higher level than they're expected to sometimes. So, I understand both sides. So, and a good job by TNT, because I think they're asking the right questions. I think they're being sensitive about everything, but and they're not being pushy on just wanting basketball answers. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is their platform. This is what the players want, and I got no issue with how they're answering the questions. And I think for the most part, it's been pretty genuine. I mean, Jamal Murray, we saw him cry last night getting interviewed. After a big performance like that, I'm sure he had, I think he was trying to hide a little bit of the emotions from the game because he had such a great game, but at the same time, he doesn't want that to overshadow what they're there for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he had a bunch of emotions going on. I know inside he was happy that his team won, and stuff like that, but he's also got, you know, other emotions from the outside that he's dealing with, that people close to him might be dealing with, teammates that we don't know about. So good job by everyone.
Yeah, no, it's been very interesting to watch, and yeah, it's we expect people to perform, but look, there are days when I don't do as good a job at work as I do other days. This has been my argument about never wanting to go to the doctor, right? Like especially surgery. Like this
Mm-hmm.
is why I would never do elective surgery, right? Because it's elective, right? So like I wouldn't do any kind of cosmetic stuff, right? But that's my fear, right? That doctor that I'm trusting, he's a normal human being just like me. What if he's depressed? What if he doesn't do a good job and I end up, with my nose over here or some shit? You know what I mean? Like it's stuff like that I've thought about. And it's, but no one goes to the doctor thinking, oh, well, what if this guy's having a bad day? We go to the doctor and we expect him to take care of it and do everything perfect, right? But
Right.
at the end of the day, they're people too, right? So it's really interesting to hear what he's going through, and he's got to perform, and that's why we appreciate greatness when we see it. And I think it's gonna,
Right.
knowing stuff like this, I think it's gonna make us even more appreciative of the greatness that we see, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so let's move on to baseball. So when is the trade deadline? Is the trade deadline today?
It's today. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been hearing a whole bunch of deals and whatnot, but the biggest deal that I heard by far, Mike Clevinger from the Indians to the Padres. Does this make the Padres a legitimate contender in the National League?
I think they're a contender without him. I mean, their record is pretty good. So Mike, that so no, I don't think it makes them any more of a contender. No, I don't think it even pushes them over the top. Just because Clevenger is only going to pitch 5 days, he's not an everyday player, right? So he can't
Right.
impact the game. But I mean, I don't know if they need any more hitters because they rank in the top 5 in every offensive category. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just ridiculous what they're doing. They've really caught the eye of baseball fans, not in San Diego. You know what I mean? So, and even some of those fans in San Diego are probably coming back to the Padres to watch them because
Yeah.
that's how exciting they've been. So, no, I don't think this move puts them over the top. I don't think it makes them any more of a contender because they're a contender before him.
See, I
What do you
disagree
think?
with you. I think this makes them a serious contender because the one thing they were missing was pitching. And now they have a bona fide number one that you can throw out there on 3 days rest if need be in a series, where you can have him twice in a 7-game series, maybe even 3 times. A guy who can really shut down another team. And with that offensive firepower, it doesn't take much for him to pick up a W for him. So I think it's a big deal. They're 5 games back of the Dodgers, and they're doing it all on offense. But we all know that come the postseason, pitching is what wins.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's a big plus for them to have a bona fide ace on their staff now. Um, on the other side of it, I really wonder what the Indians are doing. And we thought about this. We talked about this last year when they got rid of Trevor Bauer, and they've got the best pitching staff and the best, maybe the best pitching in baseball. Right? They're a team that can seriously contend right now, even with the Tampa Bays and the Yankees and whatnot. And here they give away a guy. They don't give him away. Obviously, they traded for him, but they didn't get back anything crazy. What are they doing? I mean, if I'm a Cleveland Indians fan today, I'm pissed. And I understand they have some locker room issues with Clevinger being out and about, and but man, look, it's a 60-game schedule. Let's all get on the same page. Someone messed up, but let's all get on the same page and let's make this drive to possibly win a World Series. And I don't understand what the Indians are doing trading away a guy. Was he a problem in the clubhouse? Maybe. But, man, you can't fix it for 30 more games and a postseason run? What's going on?
I think it's pretty easy. They're just sellers, and I think the Clevinger deal, with them going out or whatever and stuff like that. I think that made it that much easier for the Indians to make a deal, and I mean they're clearly in rebuilding mode. I just don't see. I don't see that management wants to really go for it. They're looking to cut back, and that's it. And now, I mean, Lindor's got to be next because you're going to lose him for nothing, right? So you
You
got
would
to
think.
trade him. Like they may get a bigger package from Clevinger than from Lindor at this point.
Yeah, yeah, and the weird thing is, you say they're sellers, which I agree with you. Obviously, they are. They've got the third best record in the American League. They're very clearly
Yeah.
going to make the playoffs, unless they give away everyone, right? But they're very clearly going to make the playoffs. And I think what they're saying is, we're close, but we can't improve enough to beat Tampa Bay, the Yankees, and the A's and the Astros. So we're just going to go completely in the other direction and just give it all away. And to me, man, if you're a Cleveland Indians fan, that's got to piss you off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe they're just banking on, if they make the playoffs, it's a success. It doesn't matter how far they go, right? Maybe that's how management is thinking about it, right? I'm assuming it's got to come from there because, I mean, Terry Francona is the manager. Like, he's a well-respected guy. Man, if they get rid of Lindor, Clevinger now, right? I mean, I don't see him being there much longer, right? Doesn't he have like health issues too? Like
Health
this
issues,
is all
yeah.
managed. This is all front office stuff from the Indians. It's got to be because I just don't. It makes no sense how you can have like they got like or they had like 5 players where you could like build around. You're talking about Kluber, you're talking about Clevinger. They had kind of like a little nice core going where you can build around. And
Well,
it's not gonna happen.
and the scary thing is, even getting rid of Clevinger, they still have their bullpen is great. I want to say it's the best bullpen in the MLB right now, and they still have Carrasco, who's come back from his cancer scare, is pitching well. They still have a lot going for them. So maybe this is a long-term move, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see it, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, as a Cleveland Indians fan, I'd be pissed. Now, for a guy who picked the Chicago White Sox to go to the World Series out of the American League, you must be pretty happy to see that.
Yeah. I mean, they got a hell of an offense, man. That offense rakes, bro. It
Yeah.
really does. And they got a no-hitter this past week from Lucas Giolito. It was the kind of pitching's kind of starting to come around a little bit. It's it's kind of middle of the pack, I think, in like ERA in the majors, but
Yeah.
the offense is there, man. And that's kind of what I feel about the Phillies. Like the Phillies have an offense that can put up 10 runs on any given night. Their bullpen is really like the big issue, So, but if they can make a move or two here before the deadline, the
Yeah.
Phillies could be sitting right and give you don't have to win the division, right? You can get second place in the division and you'll be all right. Just got to
Yeah.
make a run. Yeah, the
Yeah.
White Sox are looking good. I like them.
Yeah. The Phillies are tied for second right now with the Marlins. And the Marlins have obviously scheduling issues. The Phillies offense looks like it's starting to turn the corner, which is a good sign, with 30 games left for them, 31. If they can turn around and get one or two pieces for their bullpen, they may be a serious problem in the NL East and in the NL overall.
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at the National League, I think it's still the Dodgers, right? But I mean, Atlanta's been playing well. They don't have a lot of pitching, but I mean, the Dodgers are. I don't know.
Well, the
I don't
Dodgers,
trust the team all the way, but I will say this: they are hungry, right? When I look at a team like the Dodgers and the Padres are built to win. Maybe now, next year, following season, the Dodgers it's now, right? They've been there already 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. They're more desperate to win now.
yeah,
It's almost like if they don't win now, then we can see some further changes in that team. Maybe I don't know, right?
yeah,
But and with the Padres, it's like they make the playoffs, that's considered a success. Maybe they win their first series, that's a success. But if they lose, right, if they don't even make the World Series, they can look back and say, well, we're making progress.
Right.
We got a young team.
They're
We
building.
can still, right, yeah. And, we can look forward to next year and the season after and all that. So they got time. The Dodgers don't, which makes me think the Dodgers are desperate to win now.
Yeah, the Dodgers are the class of the National League. To me, they are head and shoulders the best team in the National League. And quite frankly, anyone but them in the World Series, and I'll be moderately surprised because it's just they're too good. They've got a great lineup. They've got great pitching. They're good all the way around. So, and you're right. The Padres are building. The Padres are playing with house money, right? If they make the playoffs, it's a winning season for them, and that will be good enough. Now, of course, they're going to want to go further, but even if they get bounced in the first round, 60-game season, they're getting better. They've added pieces, and it's a building process. I think the Padres certainly look like the team that's going to be the next challenger for the Dodgers out west. Who do you like in the American League so far, aside from the White Sox? I know you're big on the White Sox.
I don't know. Who else is? I don't know. Let me look at the. Who else has been playing? Well, I like what Toronto's doing. I think Toronto is playing well. They picked up another pitcher earlier today.
Who they pick up?
Robbie Ray from the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
So it's just another arm, and I think they realized that. Wait a second, we're in what? They're in third place, right? One game back of the Yankees. That's a team right there that is saying, well, let's give it a shot, right?
Yeah. Well, now they're firmly in that wild card spot, right? Because they'd be in one of the two wild card spots along with Minnesota. So and behind them, it's a bit of a drop off before you get to another team. So they certainly look like they're trying to build towards making the playoffs, albeit the expanded playoffs this year, but playoffs nonetheless.
Yeah, so I say they've been a little bit of a surprise so far. How about you?
Look, I'm kind of surprised with Tampa Bay, and it's not just that the surprise is not that they're playing well; it's that they're playing this well, and it's not just pitching; they're hitting. The last few years they've been making it on. They've been doing well on outstanding pitching. It seems like the hitting is catching up to their pitching, and they look more complete than they've looked in the past. I don't think that they're going to be an easy out in the playoffs for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, they look to be running away with the East right now, but I don't know, man. It's really going to be a toss-up here. It's just a lot of good teams, a lot of teams playing well right now.
Yeah.
And they could hit that wall too, Any team can hit that wall, and
a little less likely to happen though with a shorter season, I feel like. That's like the shorter season, I think, benefits a team like the Padres quite a bit. The Padres are a young team, and so it's not the same grind through the summer of being in a pennant race. They play 30 games and boom, they're already in the pennant race. So the grind doesn't take its toll on them the way it normally would a young team. A lot of times, we see a team kind of fade in July and August because, well, they're a young team. They're not used to the grind of being in the hunt for so long. So I think this short season actually plays into a young team like the Padres.
Yeah, could very well be.
And then in the National League Central, the Cubs look to be firmly in control. They seem to be playing well. And then you've got St. Louis and Milwaukee coming up behind them. Neither one of them looks great. I wonder which one of those teams will make a big move here at the trade deadline to try to get themselves going in the right direction. I I feel like Milwaukee's more likely to do it, but I don't know. They may be sellers.
Yeah, I mean, even though the Cubs are what 3.5 up on in the above the Cardinals for
Yeah.
first place, but their offense hasn't been that great. Javi Baez has not been that great. So I don't know. They and who they play, and the White Sox fucking teed off on that team. So I don't know. I think St. Louis is gonna catch them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tight race, and part of that is the reason why I think Milwaukee may end up being a seller,
That could be,
which is be a shame because I would love to see Yelich in the playoffs again. I just love watching that guy play. I think he's a great ball player, plays the right way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that division might really be a toss-up. Even Cincinnati, like, I mean, they can get on a little run here, and because the teams ahead of them haven't really,
Yeah.
shown. The Cubs got 20 wins, but those came like early in the season. Part of those, 4-6 in their last 10. That's not great. So Cincinnati can make a run, maybe.
The only thing that might hurt the Cardinals is the schedule, right? Because they're still trying to make up games from the them being out of whack because of COVID for a couple of weeks. And now that's another interesting thing to watch, right? Because Oakland has had some positive tests. If they have a situation where they're shut down for 10 days, them having to make up games may really hurt their chances to, really be prime and ready for the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just another layer of interest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, teams are probably going to really – well, I mean, the trade deadline is I think it's already up, but I would have assumed that teams would be looking a little, knowing that you have to play the Cardinals, right? If you're Milwaukee's Cubs, Cincinnati, or teams from the AL Central, knowing you still have about one or two double headers, like you don't go and get some bullpen help, right? Because you're gonna have to bullpen some of those games, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I would think the Cardinals if they're going to make any move, it's going to be bullpen help, right? Because they're going to have to bullpen a game. You're right.
Yeah. So
we'll see. Again, it's just another layer of it's another layer of complication to this already complicated season.
Yeah, it's been fun though.
Yeah.
All right, I think the Nationals are hungover, right?
Yeah. Well, the Nationals kind of caught lightning in a bottle last year. They just got hot at the right time. The schedule really played well for them at that one point in June, and they kind of rode that the rest of the summer. And, look, you can't underestimate the fact that, they lost Bryce Harper and they lost Anthony Rendon, and, they lost some significant bats, and, eventually that's going to catch up with you.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast.
That's it.
You got anything else, buddy?
No, man. I think we covered most of it.
All righty, that sounds good. As always, folks, if you want to reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on the NBA, the MLB, or arm day workouts or anything like that, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Alex, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
And likewise, if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21 on Twitter. And with that, we've come to the end of another wonderful episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.